Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Saturday. This is Game Day Live in the virtual Primetime Radio Studios here somewhere in beautiful New Jersey and Chicago, Illinois. I'm annoyed. We'll get to that in a sec. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Primetime Radio Network. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Pucks and Pitchforks contributor Vinnie Parise. And before we begin, Vinnie, before I monopolize some airtime, I want to apologize for Devils After Dark last Saturday. It was a little bit of a technical glitch that I never thought of. We had no power at the Bunker Studios, not a problem. We had internet via cellular technology. We had power via battery technology. The spare batteries, well, they shouldn't be located 200 feet from the source of the power powering the Bunker Studios, because we were running out of power. I ran upstairs. I got the batteries, and I went back down, and just when I was putting it in, the show went down. And the only reason why I'm explaining this is because you, the fans, responded. Is everything okay? Woo, are you still alive? Woo, are the Devils still alive? Woo, I only care about you. I don't really care about the Devils. But anyway, before I begin, I just want to tell you, Vinny, that I'm so happy to see you today here on Game Day Live.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure to be here. I kind of like when a bad Devils team has a game on Saturday during the day, because then we could just kind of like get it out of the way, get the misery out of the way. You don't have to let your night be ruined by this awful team with awful injury luck and, not playing that well down the stretch this season. So getting it out of the way early, it's nice to be with you here in the early afternoon of this lovely Saturday.
Yeah, you know what? I've been watching a little baseball, I got to admit. I've been watching some potential brawls and heated moments with my New York Mets. Not once, not twice, but 3 times, 4 times. Mets players were unintentionally hit. And it brings the whole thing about, what happened last season when pitchers weren't allowed to use any kind of illegal sticky substance. And you're seeing that these Major League Baseball hitters are paying the price. But now switching gears, now we got to get back to hockey, because this is game 72, about 10 games left for your New Jersey Devils. It looks like they are shutting it down for the rest of the season. And you know what? I'm going to make a pun here, and punny, they're going to get it, quote unquote, right. Shane Wright, consensus first overall pick. Devils are tanking right now. Not by design, but they are tanking right now. This is a true evaluation period. And honestly, I don't think the Devils are going to actually get a win in April. I really don't. And they're going to pin it on Jack Hughes being down. And then we'll just bag the season.
Yeah, so the Devils announced today that Jonas Siegenthaler is going to miss the rest of the season. It's not really that big of a deal. When a guy has an injury that causes him to miss 5 or 6 games, you might as well just shut him down at this point, especially when it's someone who plays hard and plays the right way like Jonas Siegenthaler does. They also announced that they're shutting Miles Wood down, which is, it's okay. Miles Wood, he had that surgery earlier in the season after a preseason game injury, and then he returned about a week or 2 ago, and, some moments here and there where he was noticeable, likes to mix it up a little bit. But it was also clear that he needs to just hit the off season and be ready to go for spring, or I almost said spring training. You got baseball on my mind now. be ready for the preseason and training camp and all that sort of stuff. That's the way of the world for the Devils right now. They're not the team that we thought they were. And, shut them down. You said the price is right, Shane Wright. Go for a good draft pick this year. There are people out there that believe the Devils are going to be pretty good next season. I'm not one of them, but I think steps can be taken forward next season where they won't necessarily be in the draft lottery mix. I don't think they'll be a playoff team next year, but I do think they won't be a draft lottery team. So you might as well go for it this year. I know Bedard and Michkov, going for one of them is probably, you have a better chance than getting Shane Wright. But I mean, do you really want to be a bottom team like that again next year? I say no. I don't know. I hope that, things go well for certain players the rest of the season, while also, I'm not saying tank, but get the best draft pick you can at this point. You got nothing to show for this season other than swift projection or incline from players like Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, Jesper Bratt. Dougie Hamilton was okay until the injury. The goaltending was trash. So outside of Nico Dawes at home, I'm okay with the way the Devils are handling the rest of the season. I just want to see progression. Whatever you got to do to stop coming in last. I'm not all in right now on their future, other than a certain couple of players anymore. Do they need a new coach? Do they need a new GM? I guess these are all answers that we'll find out over the next couple of years. But there's no reason to just put everything into this season when it comes to guys who are fringe injured or dealing with stuff. Shut them down, lose as many games as you can. I think you don't think they're going to win a single game in April?
I really don't. Now, do I believe they're intentionally losing? Absolutely not.
No,
players
for
are
sure
playing
not.
for their jobs.
Players
the economics
never do
isn't
that.
there.
Teams might tank.
Yeah. But I don't think these decisions are really made to tank. I think these decisions made to save next year. Miles Wood
Agreed.
cannot afford to get hurt. Siegenthaler is obviously the most consistent, steady defenseman that the Devils have defensively. Shut it down. And Jack Hughes. All three of these players could play if they were asked to in the Stanley Cup Finals. But right now, you got to do your cost analysis, your risk assessment here. What do you have to gain by playing these players? It's an evaluation period. You're seeing that the Hamburglar, who I think is a decent backup goalie at best, he comes in, he goes 3-0 with Montreal. He comes in with the New Jersey Devils, and his goals against average is like near 4. That tells you it goes beyond goaltending issues. That tells you that the defense has holes in it, undisciplined plays. Maybe the Devils need to change up their strategy for next season, change up the philosophies. They could score, but they give up a lot in order to score goals. What can the Devils do defensively to mitigate that? There are a lot of things, and that's for another podcast because this is a Game Day Live podcast. But right now in this evaluation period, I don't think anybody's caring about winning. I think people are caring is what can you do for us next season? And the one thing Lindy Ruff has to do next season, more than this season, he's been more of a nurturing coach. He's been more of a mentor, more of a leader of this young bunch. But he's got to start sitting players almost immediately, like what he did with Jesper Bratt, like what he did with Ty Smith, which took a little bit longer, but he is a younger player. He needs to have that authority and needs backing from upper management to bench players, including Jack Hughes, if he needs it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm wondering, so I'm thinking back to like Lindy Ruff's history, right? His recent history. And he's done a very nice job in his career as a coach of developing offensive talent, even when he's the defensive coach. I think of the steps Adam Fox took under Lindy Ruff while he was the coach of the New York Rangers, but the Rangers couldn't keep the puck out of their net. And now that he's gone, they tightened up defensively a lot, but Fox still is the player that he is because he, developed well. I'm seeing the same thing, or I remember the same thing with the Dallas Stars. Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, these guys putting up 80-point seasons, 90-point seasons. Ben won the Hart Trophy, or not the Hart Trophy, the Art Ross Trophy as the league's leading scorer. Those guys continue to be awesome offensive players after he left, but the team started to elevate their goal differential. They started to play better defensively, and then they were in the Stanley Cup final the next year, or 2 years later, whatever it was. This year they're a pretty good team. I think they've dealt with some injuries and stuff like that, but they rely on a lot of their younger guys now. They're a bubble team. But Lindy Ruff helped Seguin and Ben a lot during those times. The offensive stuff, it was really elevated during those times. And we've seen it a little bit with the Devils this season. Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, Jesper Bratt, all these guys have had outstanding offensive seasons, but the team can't keep the puck out of their net. So I wonder if the plan all along was to really get those top guys going offensively and see what they can do. And then is Lindy Ruff going to be the guy going forward who helps them clamp down on defense and keep the puck out of their own net? That remains to be seen. I know we got a lot of people on one side of the fence and a lot of people on the other side of the fence. I'm just team whatever the heck allows this Devils team to be better defensively, but also continue their offensive prowess. Scoring 4 goals against Montreal, you can win by scoring 4 goals a game, right? I mean, you don't want to give up 7 goals a game by any means. So if you can continue to score at that pace, but you got to stop letting up that many goals. You need good goaltending. You need to clamp down defensively. The forwards have to put in a better effort. You can't even just put it on the goalies. I know Jay Fresh has all those stats out there about how like the Devils' expected goals against average is like pretty low, and which just makes it seem like it's all the goalie's fault. And I think Hughes, Sharangovich, and Bratt were amongst the players in the NHL who have the worst save percentage while they're on the ice. That also says a lot about the way these guys backcheck and stuff like that. I don't think it's all on the goalies. So it's a lot on the goalies, don't get me wrong. If they had Chesterkin, they'd be in a playoff spot right now. I believe that. But, there's a lot of give and there's a lot of take with this argument.
And there goes the team concept, right? It's more than just scoring. It's playing defensively. It's getting good goaltending. 2 out of 3 the Devils aren't doing right now. So you got to think about it that way. And is Lindy Ruff the guy to know how to turn it around? I'm not sure if Lindy Ruff is the greatest defensive coach. I'm not sure, because you look at his track record with the New York Rangers. He tried to coach the defense. You look what happened to them. Rangers fans were laughing at us when he came to the Devils, and for good reason. But you look at his track record in Buffalo, slow build. Dallas, he had some success there. So it's really hard to say, other than would there be an assistant coach that needs to be changed to address the defense? Because the defense is horrible. It's absolutely horrible. We've been saying this all season long. And when they do play well and they do get great goaltending, this team could be virtually unstoppable at that point if you've got that offensive power. I'm just still, again, I know Devils fans want Lindy Ruff's head. They want him fired. But again, what is that going to solve? Who are you going to replace him with? That's a good question. Who are you going to replace him with? And that's why I'm always about Tom Fitzgerald and Lindy Ruff. Give them 1 more year, both of them. And if you end up in last place again, then you fire them. I hate for Devils fans to suffer long enough. Since 2012, it's been a roller coaster of a ride, mostly down. But honestly, you know what? Give it 1 more year. If not, boom, off he goes, both of them. And then you've got Luke Hughes and a few other prospects waiting in the wings to help supplement under a new direction of a new coach. Maybe it's too early to pull the plug on Lindy Ruff. That's what my opinion is.
Yeah. And so it's one of those things. You ever hear an argument about something in sports? This applies to arguments in life too, where you can understand both sides of it. I think there are pros to letting Lindy Ruff go now, and I think there are cons to it. I'm sure the players love playing for him. It seems like it, but also at the same time, the effort at the second, this later portion of the season, I haven't loved. They come out flat a lot, and then they turn it on later in the game. They've made a couple comebacks. So that game against the Blues sticks out. The game against the Avalanche, it's like, well, why don't you just start the game playing that well? Some of the decision making with the lineups, I didn't love Miles Wood playing on the top line in his second game with the team or first game with the team. The Jack Hughes injury is a freak thing. I really hope this doesn't become like a constant for him because he has played a lot of games in his first 2 years in his career. But this year, two kind of freak injuries of guys, messing with him early. And, hopefully by the time he reaches next season, he's another year, not another year older, another year better. And he's a little more nimble, and is also he's also stronger. I think you can appreciate. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works.
Yeah, should be very interesting to see how Jack Hughes fills in that body. Like Joe Thornton was a very skinny kid, 18 years old, drafted by the Boston Bruins back in '97. You know, I still consider him more of a slender player, but he put on the muscle and he became a different player. I mean, the first couple of years, Joe Thornton was just getting toyed around, and with Jack Hughes, I'm not going to say he's going to be a 6'5" monster because obviously he's not that big, but I think he is going to learn how to play better in terms of longevity if he plays smart. He doesn't play reckless. If he played reckless, we would know. I mean, heck, the guy has
Yeah,
0 penalty minutes, so he's not a reckless player. I
which
truly
is
believe that
crazy.
those two, yeah. But at the same time, once Jack Hughes, one day in his career, if he loses that speed, I'm not sure if he's going to be as good of a player he is now because he relies on that speed. But man, once he gets that experience, his vision will always be there. I think that's what's going to make up for it later down in his career. But for now, he is fast. He is so fast and so quick and so slippery good that, he has that Crosby esque type talent right now.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He creates plays. He uses his speed. He has the ability to be a puck thief. He steals the puck from other players, which is partially like a huge thing. It's crazy to me that he hasn't taken a penalty. A guy who tries to steal the puck from his opponent that often never got hit with just a simple slash, a simple tripping, like just such a minor penalty that like happens to everyone. Like those types of, there are penalties you get pissed at as a fan, and there are penalties you don't. Jack
Mm-hmm.
Hughes, he hasn't even taken one of those like small penalties that like just happen from time to time, like a trip, like a slash, trying to steal a puck, anything like that, interference, whatever it may be. Nothing. It's just crazy to me. He's a great player, and I really hope he's able to stay healthy starting soon, because starting next year, because the Devils really do have a good player on their hands. But like I said on the last show, it doesn't matter if Jack Hughes scores 100 goals. It does not matter if they give up 120 for every 100 Jack Hughes goals. So
Yeah.
they got to shore that up, and I believe they will kind of soon.
Yeah. Well, Vinny, we're coming up to the top of the hour. Let's do the predictions. Devils, Stars. Obviously, the Stars are going places. Devils are not. What are your predictions?
My prediction is that the New Jersey Devils. Ooh, this is tough. The Dallas Stars are really good. I've been picking them to win a lot lately. I think once I started to pick them to lose a little bit in December, they actually started to win a little bit here. So I'll kind of run a little reverse psychology here and say that the Dallas Stars will pick up a 3-2 victory at home.
Oh, I think the Dallas Stars are going to spank the New Jersey Devils, and badly. I'm thinking 8-4 Dallas. Hate to do it to you. Hate to do
Yeah.
it to you.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Well, Vinnie, it was great seeing you. Devils are on this road trip. There's going to be a lot of late games. We're going to have to talk about that because I don't know.
Yep.
That's a lot of late games. But I know
Yep,
Scotty
absolutely
will take over. So I want to thank all those tuning in. Remember, Devils After Dark, after the game, around 5 p.m. Eastern. Scotty and I. Until next time, let's go Devils.